So this video, we're talking about the compound effect, and that's been the book that's been the catalyst for me as far as like self-improvement, changing my life, things like that. And I read that book at the beginning of 2020 to start the year, and it was like just a book that you completely go all in on, like as soon as you start reading it, because it just hits you and vibes with you. So the guy who wrote the book is named Darren Hardy, and he just talks about his story and how the compound effect has changed his life. And it was, shown to him by his dad, kind of. His dad was an example for him, and that's what I'd like to be for my son, is an example of just like hard work and discipline, and just trying to make sure that he's ready for like life and understands how to react and do things in certain situations. I think that's something that I struggled with when I was younger, is I didn't understand perspective, how to do certain things certain way, how to like step up in certain situations. And it took me a lot of trial and error and falling on my face to figure that out. So that's one of my goals as a dad, is just to like prepare my son for a lot of different scenarios in life, and how to figure out how to like react in those situations, what to say, what to do, and how to carry yourself. I think that's a big thing that young men might be missing, is, and myself, like it took me a long time to figure that stuff out. But yeah, so the compound effect is basically what the concept is small actions compounded over a long period of time equals massive results. Okay. So what that means is, like, take fitness. Okay. So if you looked at me 2 years ago, I would look completely different in terms of my body. And I used to have a very average body, and I thought it could be better, but a lot of people just told me I was skinny. Don't worry about it. You're in decent shape. But to me, I was like, I know I can do better. So I want to try a little harder. And so I basically was doing all these workouts for a long time, but never making any progress because I lacked consistency. Like, I would work hard for a week or two, go party, then like set myself back, recover from that whole process. And then I'd come back and then hit it hard again, and then go party again. And then it's just like a vicious cycle of like not making progress. So what I kind of had to do is figure out what's like a consistent routine that I can do on a daily basis to get myself in the habit of being consistent. And what that was just like a simple routine of like body weight exercises. So it was like 5 exercises every morning, and I'd rotate it a little bit, like push-ups, mountain climbers, air squats, crunches, leg raises, stuff like that, where it's just like I did it in 10 minutes or so. So you do 2 sets, each one takes about 5 minutes or so, and then you're done for the day. So I was getting up about 6, usually 6:30, and that was my consistency time back then. And so with the 6, I started doing that. I cut down on my drinking a lot, and then I started doing that little routine. And so what happened from that is, like, I finally started seeing progress. And it wasn't a lot, but the thing is, like, you have to take progress pictures. I'm a huge believer in that, because it's like you see yourself every single day and you don't realize the progress that you're making. But if you look back over a long period of time, you see a ton of progress. And so if you don't take those pictures, you're holding yourself back from understanding where you are. So I've applied this concept to a lot of things in life. So you take the progress pictures with fitness. There's a couple things with that. It's like, it helps you look back and see how much progress you made. But a lot of times it's like, you look back at those pictures and you say, wow, I thought I looked good back then, and now I look even better. Like, my body is in much better shape, and I have less body fat and more muscle than I did before, more muscle tone. And so basically with that, it's like, even if you don't want to take those pictures to start, it's like, you're the only one that's going to see them if you want to. But you'll feel so much better by getting those pictures and like having them to look back on. And I think you can even do that in your own life, is to apply like progress snapshots. I think this is hard to do, and I still am getting in a routine of doing this. But it's like, you sit there and you take you sit down on a day, like the first day of the month, second day, something like that, and you're like, last day too, is like, how did I do this month? And you kind of analyze that. You look at those progress pictures. You can take progress snapshots in life. And what I would equate this to is, you're in a boat going out in the ocean, all right? And so in this boat in the ocean, you have waves, and the waves are moving you, and you feel them slightly. But if you look out at the shore, it doesn't really feel like you're going anywhere, and you're just sitting in the same spot. But if you sit there for long enough, an hour or so, you look up and you're in a completely different spot than where you were before. And that's what the compound effect is. It's like the little waves and the little ripples that you can make every single day, and stop chasing like a fast result, and just basically go in and like look at look at your results long term and see where you are long term. You can be in a completely different spot in a month, in a year, in 2 years. So that's why I'm continuing on with this like personal brand thing. Is like, I'm on a 5-year plan right now. I have 5 years till I turn 43, pretty much, maybe a little bit more. But it's like, whether or not you work on your goals, time is still going to pass. And so that's a really important thing to think about is, when you're 42, 43, you can either be in the same spot, or you could have been working on those goals for 5 years. And I wasted a ton of time not working on my goals. So if you're already 18, 20, 25, and you're doing this stuff under 30, like, you're so far ahead of where I was, and you realize like how much progress you can start making. But I would just encourage you not to like put a timeline on it where it's like super short. So I'm putting a timeline of 5 years. I think that's kind of reasonable. Is like, think about the progress you can make in 5 years. And am I going to stop in 5 years? Am I going to stop this process of self-improvement and trying to develop myself into the best human being I can be? I don't think so. Like, I doubt that highly. I'm pretty confidently I can say no. So I'm not going to stop that process. This is like an ever evolving journey that we're on in life. But I think if you're documenting the stuff, it just makes it so much more fun, because like, I can look at my content from freaking like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, in 2020, 2021, and I cringe at it so hard. And I might cringe at this now or in the future, but it's just one of those things where you're just putting yourself out there and trying your best. And it's just like you're at the gym. I keep going back to the gym, but it's like you're at the gym, and the first time you lift that bar, you might be only able to lift the bar, if that. And then the next, like in a year or two, you're putting 45s on the bar. And then the next year or two, you're putting 245s on the bar. So that's my goal, is I'm trying to get to 225 on bench. But it takes a long time to hit these results, and you just have to like continue that process. What you do is you just keep working on these things day by day, and then you don't see a lot of progress, but then it starts compounding. And then like the same amount of effort you put in, you're more impactful with that. And like, you build the snowball, build the snowball, build the snowball, and all of a sudden you got so much momentum. So that's the compound effect. It's an amazing book. It's 4 hours long on the audiobook. You can literally knock it out in one day. I think like if you start reading it, I will bet you finish it within the week. So check it out. Let me know what you think.